we get to another direct-to-video Van Damme movie. And there's been some that I've liked of his. Weight of Death, Until Death, The Order, JCVD. Well, some would argue if that was a direct-to-video film, but and some I'll get to. I don't mind Six Bullets. Shepherd Border Patrol I liked. Especially when I liked it more the second time I saw it. Replicant I liked. This is not one of them. The hardcore. More like you. I gotta do the obvious joke. You rather enjoy some hardcore fucking than watch this movie. You rather be hardcore fucked in the ass than watch the movie again. Yes, I would rather have that. Okay. Because at least maybe it'll hit the sweet spot, which this movie didn't fucking do. Even a hardcore Jean-Claude Van Damme fan like me. And I don't know what the hell happened. It's a very boring film. It's a very lackluster, lousy film. It's a film that's way too long for usually direct-to-video action films. They seem to be in the vein of 80, 90 minutes long. This is an hour and 50 minutes, and it didn't need to be. There's a lot of stuff that's been cut out. The villain is faceless because you won't remember his face after watching the fucking film. Severe lack of action. Hell, I told you the running time. You know when Van Damme has his first bit of fisticuffs? An hour into the movie. An hour into the movie is when you get Van Damme's first attempt at fisticuffs. And this is directed by Sheldon Lettich, the same guy who directed Lionheart, which I reviewed and I love, who directed Double Impact, which I really enjoy and I reviewed, who directed The Order, which I enjoyed and said it was an underrated movie. I still do. Hell lot better than this. Much more fast-paced. It's a shorter film. It's a much more entertaining film. Hell, I didn't even say I got more into that story than this. I mean, in a nutshell, Van Damme is he was a soldier. He was traumatized in battle because he find out bits and pieces that there was a bad guy with a kid. They told him to take the shot. He couldn't because the kid was there. He didn't want to hit the kid. He realized too late that there was a bomb, so it blew up the schoolhouse and other kids died. So he has a little bit of PTSD. At the same time, this boxer, the actor's name is Raz Adoti, which I've seen him in a few other films. If you look him up, I've seen him in a couple films. I think the character's name is Bartley. He's a boxer who went on to do other stuff as well, and he put in prison this gangster, or gangsta, should say for this movie. He's gangsta who got out of jail and wants revenge. And so the boxer's sister, played by Vivica A. Fox, yes, Will Smith's wife in Independence Day, she's in this. She wants to hire someone to protect her brother. So they contact this one guy who's a buddy with Van Damme and says, hey, both of us can do this. Let's do it. And then it goes on from there. They go to this hip-hop event for a trial run. One thing leads to another, and a car comes by for a hit. This is the only action scene in the first hour until you get to that fisticuff. So 1 hour, this is your action scene. There's a truck. Van Damme sees it. Takes a machine gun, shoots. Then it goes by. Van Damme shoots, goes up, shoots 3 guys, and they get hit and killed by air. Because apparently, I guess this film, at least in that scene, couldn't afford bullet squibs. Because literally, it's people get shot, and they go, but no bullet hits. Unless I'm blind, and I don't think I'm blind, but I didn't see any. So maybe Van Damme scared him to death with his eyes. Because there's reviews on, if you like the film, that's fine. I just don't understand what's there to like about it. People go, oh, Van Damme's performance. To me, this is one of Van Damme's weakest performances. He literally is a zombie in this movie. Just because he acts like a zombie doesn't mean he's having a good performance, folks. JCVD is a good performance. Replicant is a good performance. He's playing two different characters. He has some good stuff in 6 Bullets. Because there's some actual good moments, which I'll get to when I talk about that film. Hell, the scene when he's crucifying Cyborg, kissed the shit out of it. That's a good acting. Here, though, he's just a zombie. There's really not much emotion throughout the entire film. So I don't really think of it as a good acting performance. Wake of Death, that's a good acting performance. Same with Until Death. This, no. And nothing much happens. His buddy gets shot in the neck. They go on his funeral. And that's what I'm talking about. Van Damme, I thought he did a bad job. Like, this is your buddy dead. And he's just standing there as if he's waiting for a cup of coffee. Talking about, back a few years ago, he saved my life. And if it wasn't for him, he would have been here standing and I would be down there. And I'm sure some of you would feel the same. And then I know people go, well, what do you expect? Jean-Claude Van Damme. No, watch when he breaks down in Wake of Death. Or there's a moment where he gets upset with his son in 6 Bullets. Or scenes in Hell. Which some of those films I'll get to. In Hell I'll get to later, as well as 6 Bullets. Wake of Death, Until Death. There are other moments where he did showcase that. Here it was just, I think I know what it is. He was bored with this movie, Van Damme. He was bored as fuck in this movie. That's what he looks like. That's what it is. He is bored as fuck. That's what I was looking for, the phrase, he doesn't want to be in this movie. And that's what Van Damme seems like. He seems like he doesn't want to be in this fucking film, this hip-hop gangsta meets martial arts film. Which I'll say this, I prefer Jean-Claude Van Damme over Steven Seagal. But I do like early Steven Seagal, but there's stuff I think Steven Seagal did do better. He did a better Die Hard on a Train movie with Under Siege 2, because that's much better than Van Damme's Derailed. I do think he did a better job directing, because I would rather watch On Deadly Ground, either some crazy bear fighting shit, or some good action shit. I do think that's better than The Quest, Van Damme's directing debut. And I do think he did a better hip-hop movie, because I would rather watch Edge of Wounds than this. Granted, Edge of Wounds had a much bigger budget, but I didn't have fun with Edge of Wounds. I have problems with it, but I would rather watch that than this movie. I hate to say it, I would rather watch fucking Half Past Dead than this movie. I'm not even the biggest fan of Half Past Dead, but I would still watch that than this movie. Because that film has more action than this movie. Of course, it made sense. It was a theatrical film. This is direct-to-video. But I've seen direct-to-video films where The Order with Sheldon Lettich. The last time he did a direct-to-video film, he had tons of action. Which, I'm sorry, when you're going to see a direct-to-video Van Damme film, that's kind of what you want to see. Or, hey, showcase some of Van Damme's acting. You have neither. Van Damme is a zombie. He looks like he's bored as fuck. He doesn't want to be there. He wants to go home. And yell on the phone about Bloodsport sequel. They won't let me make Bloodsport 2. Or go play with his dogs, because I know he likes dogs. And pretty much after the funeral, he gets arrested by these cops. And this is a twist that you see coming, because this cop that keeps showing up, and he arrests Van Damme, and he seems to give the boxer a hard time, and he's telling all this shit about Van Damme, how awful he is. I wonder if he's working with the bad guy. What a twist at the end. Oh, he is. No shit. I kind of figured, because he seemed like a fucking douchebag. And the bad guys, there's not much. They're gangstas, and one has a nephew who's very clean cut. He seems like the guy from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, ready to do the dance. Or it looks like someone would be one of the Huxtables. Clean cut nephew who doesn't want him to know what's going on. But these guys who failed the hit, take him to his dogs, my dogs are hungry. And this one guy stabs a guy and cuts him open and takes out a liver, as nice gory as I'm making it sound like, and feeds some of it to the dog. And again, it's not as gory as I'm making it sound like. But God forbid if I can't remember the damn villain's name after her character. And apparently I read that DMX was supposed to be the villain, but he went to prison. And then he said a line later about, I would rather have gone to prison than do that film. I'm like, this is the same guy that did Exit Wounds and Cradle to the Grave. And you would rather go to prison and probably get fucked in the ass than, I don't know, make a film with Van Damme? Granted, I hate the movie The Hardcore, but I would rather do that than go to prison. Maybe by this much, but yeah, I would rather do that than be worried about if someone's going to shank my ass or rape my ass or kiss my ass, and not in the way I want to. But hey, that's just me, DMX. I'm sorry. Grr. Ass gonna give it to you right in the ass. Gonna give it to you right through your boner, yeah. And hey, I actually like that song. And I can watch Cradle to the Grave and Exit Wounds more than this film. Even if you don't like those films, they're still better than this movie. Just stuff actually happens in those movies. And you get some bonding between him and Vivica A, and I don't buy these two falling in love with each other. I don't buy it at all. They have chemistry like sugar and dirt. I mean, it just doesn't mix well. And then Van Damme he's going to be hired. You get some bitching back and forth between him and the boxer. Who's going to be in the hardcore? Who's going to be in the group that's going to protect the guy? I'm thinking, well, why do you need a group? Why can't you just have Van Damme protect the guy? But okay, go have a group. And then Van Damme versus his lady, because the whole thing of, oh, you're not going in, you're a lady. Hey, why don't you try me? And it's not even a fight. Pretty much Van Damme just blocking while the lady kicks him. And then one of Van Damme's buddies comes in with a cowboy hat, takes it off, puts on a backwards cap. And you get some training of these hardcore with some really shitty rap music. And you get more bonding with Vivica Fox. Then it gets to more of the boxer tries to see his lady, and Van Damme says, I'm going to go. And then, oh, here's the little bit of humor where he asks Van Damme about the music, and Van Damme goes, well, maybe I'll like it if I would understand anything besides bitch and hoe and motherfucker. And then pretty much the boxer gets to his lady friend, and Van Damme is in the car and sees that bad guys have arrived. And you get your first Van Damme fisticuff, and over an hour in, first fisticuff, is about 30-40 seconds long because it's in a kitchen and guy's got a gun on Van Damme does this, and someone pushes a table on Van Damme does a headbutt and hits a guy, kicks a guy who goes against these pots, kicks the guy again who goes through a glass door. That's pretty much it. Really, that's it. The only thing I liked about the scene is I liked the fact that the boxer's woman is actually pretty tough because a guy calls her bitch or something and she just smacks the guy and knocks him out. I don't mind that. And it's just Van Damme doing a gangster hip hop action movie wasn't needed and wasn't wanted. And then when you have really shitty rap music, you have a very severe lack of action and fisticuffs. There's no car chases. There's no explosions. I can't think of any nudity. I really can't think of really any blood. It's as dry as fucking an empty bottle of water. There's not much to the movie. Because after, and just saying lines like Van Damme says, you were this close to getting whacked. It's just weird hearing Van Damme say whacked like that. You were this close to getting whacked. It's just weird to hear Van Damme say a line like that. I mean, what the fuck, Sheldon Lettich? You did 3 other movies I enjoyed. What the fuck happened? I don't know why this gets a 5.3. It's way too fucking high. If you like the film, once again, fine. I don't understand it. What is there to like about it? What? Please explain to me. You don't get it. Exactly. I said that. Please explain. I would love to hear the explanation. Please do. It's not the villains. It's not the dialogue. It's not the actions. There's barely any fucking action. There's no explosions. There's no car chases. There's barely any fisticuffs. There's no helicopter kicks. It's not the chemistry between Van Damme and Vivica Fox. There's a zilch and nada. Jack and shit and Jack left town. Just all that happens after that, there's a sports complex convention with the mayor, and Van Damme goes, oh, there's a gun, but there's no gun, but then you find out Van Damme was right, and then Van Damme and the boxer get pissed at each other, and then you get the second fight of the movie, at an hour and 16 minutes in. This is probably the only decent fight in the movie, and I call it decent. This is the only fight that's actually longer than 30 seconds. Well, first off, it's one of the only fights in the movie. And then when it's one of the only fights in the movie, and it's longer than 30 seconds. 40 seconds. But it's nothing compared to Lionheart fights, or Double Impact fights, or Bloodsport, or Kickboxer, or The Order. Yes, even The Order. When Van Damme does that cool double kick to the people on each side of him in The Order. And then pretty much they find out that Vivica Fox has been kidnapped. And they find out that the cop is dirty. No shit. The boxer finds out what happened to Van Damme. And Van Damme tells him. And I already told you that little backstory of him. They go to the boxer's girlfriend's place where the dirty cop is. And pretty much the rest of the hardcore come through the windows. Shoot like tactical. It lasts about 10 seconds. Dirty cop gets them where they need to go, which is the bad guy's place. There's a standoff, and a very, very boring, mundane, sloppy shootout happens. Bunch of guys I don't care about, bunch of guys I don't care about, bang, 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 some get shot and fall over. The nephew helps Vivica Fox, the nephew of the bad guy, because he's actually a decent guy. Van Damme gets the girl out, Vivica Fox. He comes in, he shoots 3 guys. Pop, pop, pop. I guess they couldn't afford blood squibs in this movie. That's how cheap it is, I guess. Even though I heard it cost, what, 12 million bucks? Or 10 million bucks? Where the fuck did the money go to? The Cyborg cost less than $500,000. They have more shit going on in this movie. How about someone explain that to me, please? Take as long of a paragraph as you can about how Cyborg can cost less than $500,000 and look 10 times the budget as this fucking movie, which apparently costs over $10 million. Please explain. And then Van Damme follows this guy, the guy earlier who had cut the meat and fed it to the dogs, pretty much by the dog cage, and all the guy does is choke Van Damme, try to stab him, get Van Damme hits him, kicks him 1 or 2 times into the dog cage, and the guy gets eaten. And you don't even get to see that. And then the boxer is fighting the bad guy, pretty much beating the shit out of him. This other guy got the guns on the boxer. Van Damme kills the one guy. Van Damme gets shot. The boxer throws the main bad guy. It's in a garage, so it's one of those things where the car is lifted up. The car falls down. Then you see no blood or gore or anything. Van Damme is wearing a vest, so he's okay. I didn't mind the one line he had in that scene. That fucking hurt. And then everything's okay, and Van Damme and Vivica Fox kiss, and then the movie ends. Well, why'd you tell the whole movie? Because now you don't have to see it, because that's literally the whole fucking film. I saved you an hour and 30 minutes, because this is 20 minutes. I told you the movie, so instead of watching an hour and 50-minute movie, you just watch a 20-minute rant on it. Because that's literally the whole film. Van Damme acting like a zombie. Barely, you just show some emotion in certain scenes, but he doesn't. I don't know why. Is that why they put the PTSD, just to explain why he's acting like a zombie? I think it's one of Van Damme's weakest performances. He looks bored as fuck. The storyline, yeah, well, you can't have decent storylines. I thought the storyline Way to Death for Van Damme and Replicant, they're pretty decent storylines. And hell, some other films that Van Damme has done that were straight to video, straight to DVD. A boxer and a rapper, and who I don't give a fuck. Didn't give a fuck about any of the other characters. The chemistry between Van Damme and Vivica A were non-existent. Horrible, shitty rap music didn't help. Very severe lack of action didn't help. And 1 hour and 16 minutes of an hour and 50-minute movie. What you get in an hour and 16 minutes is 3 little action scenes. Van Damme shooting a car that's driving by. Van Damme fighting 2 or 3 thugs in a kitchen for about 40 seconds. And then the scene where Van Damme and the boxer fight. That's the 3 that you get. And even the ending is just Van Damme, all he does is shoot 3 guys that no blood squibs, no nothing to them. They just fall down as if it was a fucking TV show. Although that's not the case. I've seen TV shows have fucking blood squibs. I've seen more blood on CSI Miami. And then Van Damme fights some fucking guy no one gives a shit about. Just guys choking him, try to stab him. Van Damme kicks him into the dog cage. Then the boxer fights the bad guy and crushes his ass. Not even in a satisfying way. No blood, no guts, no gore, no nothing. Fuck, I don't even know why the hell this is rated R. Was it language? Because I certainly don't remember any tits. I don't remember any blood. And there was barely any action. Was this PG-13? If it was, I wouldn't be surprised. If it's rated R, I don't know why the fuck it was rated R. But yeah, I thought the horrorcore was a fucking lame movie. I mean, hell, anyone would rather do some hardcore fucking. But I'd rather be hardcore fucked than watch the movie again. I've said it before, I'll say it again. At least maybe a sweet spot would be hit. There are no sweet spots. I have no positives about this movie. I do think this is one of Van Damme's worst fucking films. It would be in the top 3 worst Van Damme films for me. It really would. Especially when Sheldon Lettich did 3 good Van Damme movies before, and then he turns out this turd. But yeah, this is fucking lame. Anyway, that's it. I don't want to turn this into 30 minutes. Thanks for watching, take care, and fuck this movie.